My name is Darby Walsh. My student number is 22114498 and I have chosen Ethan. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to Ethan, a 13-year-old boy in Year 8 who lives at home with his two mothers, Rachel and Jess, in a small one-story home in Western Sydney. Ethan is passionate about science and video games and has a close group of friends he enjoys spending time with. He is intelligent, mostly keeping up with mainstream content at his school, and is beginning to prioritize becoming independent. Ethan has spastic diplegic cerebral palsy, classified as GMF-CS level 3 and MACS level 3. It must be remembered that Ethan is a teenager living with a diagnosis, not solely a diagnosis. When we think about Ethan's current occupational profile, we see a young boy engaged across all three domains. Ethan is attempting to be independent in self-care. However, dressing is a daily struggle, and particularly fasteners and footwear. He also requires significant assistance with most bathroom tasks due to having a non-modified bathroom at home. Ethan attends school 5 days a week and engages well academically. However, his handwriting is slow and effortful, and he is frequently unable to complete written tasks within time limits. For Ethan, leisure is the domain of highest priority. He loves gaming and values his friendships, but actively avoids physical education and group activities out of fear of falling and being judged for being visibly different from his peers. Ethan has been an NDIS participant since he was 7, with a history of occupational therapy, physiotherapy, and speech therapy. Previous OT was largely impairment focused, targeting motor skills and physical strength. And while his physical capacity has improved, this hasn't been translated into meaningful gains in terms of occupational participation. Ethan has taken a 6-month break from OT and is now representing as he moves into early adolescence, a pivotal developmental moment where identity, independence, and belonging are central occupational priorities. Within the family, Ethan is an emerging adolescent, navigating between a push and pull between dependence and independence, which is complicated by his cerebral palsy. Ethan's mums are highly involved advocates. Rachel and Jess support his morning routine and are beginning to worry that as Ethan grows physically, they won't be able to safely provide the care he needs. Their priorities are slightly different from Ethan. They want academic participation and safety, whereas Ethan wants independence and social belonging. It's a key part of our role to ensure we hold safe space for both. As Enably et al. 2017 highlights, cerebral palsy rehabilitation often emphasizes body function, yet there are gaps in addressing environmental factors. This is evident in Ethan's key performance environments of home, school, and community. At home, his bedroom supports independence. However, the bathroom lacks grab rails and includes a shower lip that presents as a tripping hazard. And the front entrance remains inaccessible for his walker. At school, Ethan can access most areas, though he does experience fatigue over long distances. And his seated posture leads to discomfort and disengagement over extended periods. In the community, though, he participates regularly with outings with a support worker. His social participation is still limited and reduced due to confidence and a fear of judgment. When it comes to what Ethan wants from occupational therapy, it comes down to 5 key priority areas: independence in dressing, finishing his schoolwork on time, feeling confident and included socially, having safe and independent bathroom access, and participating with peers without fear. These goals have been collaboratively set and will anchor all intervention decisions. As Livingston et al. 2011 demonstrate, these self-identified goals closely align with the literature, which highlights that adolescents with CP prioritize independence, social inclusion, and meaningful participation in everyday life. So, the evaluation began from a top-down perspective, starting with Ethan's occupational performance and participation, rather than solely focusing on his impairment. Both subjective and objective data were gathered across multiple environments, consistent with best practice guidelines by Enably et al. 2017 and Jackman et al. 2021. I conducted semi-structured interviews with Ethan to ensure he had his own space to share his perspective, and then with Rachel and Jess together. With consent, I also consulted with Ethan's learning support teacher at school. This provided me with 3 perspectives: Ethan's lived experience, his family's concerns and observations, and the school's functional observations. I also conducted direct observation across contexts. A home visit allowed me to observe Ethan's dressing routine and document accessibility barriers systematically, including that of the bathroom access. A school visit allowed me to observe his posture in the classroom, handwriting, and how fatigue plays out across a general school day. This environmental immersion is essential as assessments conducted only in clinic would really miss the majority of what's actually happening for Ethan in his day-to-day life. For standardized assessment, I selected the COPM as the primary tool. It's person-centered, it's validated for adolescents with physical disabilities, and it provides a baseline for measuring meaningful change. The school function assessment measures participation and task performance within school and is particularly valuable for informing the learning support team and supporting formal accommodation requests such as exam time extensions. Goal Attainment Scale, GAS, was co-constructed with Ethan and his mums to ensure goals are measurable and individualized. As Keng et al. 2020 highlight, the COPM is responsive to change in individuals with cerebral palsy, and Ostenjo et al. 2008 demonstrate the effectiveness of combining COPM and GAS in goal-orientated rehabilitation. I also used the Able Hand Kids to capture bimanual performance, the PEDI to quantify functional independence and caregiver assistance, directly addressing Rachel and Jess's concern about managing his increasing physical needs, as well as the PEMCY to capture participation and environmental barriers. A critical component was the dynamic performance analysis, observing Ethan completing real-life tasks in context, consistent with the co-op approach. A brief video of his routine tasks will also be used as a baseline, allowing for meaningful comparison at the reevaluation stage. The clinical hypothesis is that Ethan's reduced occupational participation is driven by 3 interacting factors: motor impairment impacting fine motor precision and endurance, environmental barriers at home and school, and psychosocial factors, including fear of falling and reduced self-efficacy. His previous therapy was largely focused on impairment alone, highlighting the need for comprehensive approaches. This is supported by Fernandez and Cardenas et al. 2025, who demonstrate that OT can improve both motor function and independence in ADLs, and Jackman et al. 2021, who emphasize addressing environmental and contextual factors alongside the impairment to optimize participation outcomes. The intervention plan adopts a top-down approach and occupational focus. Ethan remains the primary driver of his goals, with Rachel and Jess as collaborators, reflecting family-centered practice while supporting Ethan's developing autonomy. Where their priorities differ from Ethan's, transparent negotiation will be facilitated. 3 interlocking approaches will be used: co-op to support strategy development through goal, plan, do, check; intensive goal-directed training targeting prioritized goals; and solution-focused coaching to strengthen self-efficacy. As demonstrated by Collett et al. 2025 and Gemino and Polatico 2025, both co-op and goal-directed training led to improvements in occupational performance within this specific population. For dressing, Ethan will practice his full routine at home using co-op, with strategies targeting sequencing, positioning, pacing, and adaptive equipment such as elastic laces, magnetic closures, zip pulls, and button hooks. His mums will receive a structured home program to support a brief daily dressing practice using strategies identified in therapy. At school, co-op sessions will be delivered using real classroom tasks, including note-taking, time-written assignments, copying from the board, and using his laptop. Strategies will focus on chunking tasks, using templates, and combining typing with abbreviated handwriting. A seated assessment will also optimize chair height, foot support, desk angle, and introduce scheduled movement breaks. Accommodations such as exam time extensions will be supported through a formal accommodation letter co-authored by the school team. For the home environment, an NDIS home modification report will recommend grab rails, a fold-down shower chair, removal of the shower lip to create flush threshold, and a portable ramp at the front entrance. Interim assistive technology, including a portable grab rail and non-slip mat, will be sourced immediately to ensure safety while permanent modifications are being arranged. For social participation, a participation approach will support Ethan to engage meaningfully in peer activity using graded exposure, falls prevention strategies, and motivational interviewing. Referral to CP Sport Australia may be appropriate if he is interested in modified sport. Solution-focused coaching developed by Schwellnus et al. 2020, specifically for young people with CP, will support him to build confidence and take incremental steps, directly targeting his avoidance cycle and self-efficacy. As IMS et al. Highlight, leisure participation often declines significantly during adolescence for individuals with CP, reinforcing the importance of prioritizing this goal area. Throughout all streams, Rachel and Jess are positioned as partners, not just parents. They will be actively involved in goal setting and review sessions, with action plans co-constructed to support both home and community participation. They will also receive written and video resources alongside coaching to promote consistency and confidence in implementing strategies within daily routines. At 8 to 12 weeks, reevaluation will use the same tools. The COPM will be re-administered with expected clinically meaningful change of 2 or more points in both performance and satisfaction. GAS will be rescored, and the PEDI and PEMCY will reevaluate changes in independence and participation. Baseline and follow-up video recordings of dressing, handwriting, shower transfers, and walker use will also be compared to analyze changes in performance, safety, and fatigue. The changes we expect to see include Ethan managing dressing independently with strategies, completing schoolwork on time, accessing his home and bathroom safely, and engaging in at least one peer activity. A GAS T-score of 50 or above will indicate goals have been met at the expected level, and a PEDI score reflecting reduced caregiver assistance and a PEMCY showing increased participation will confirm that this change is meaningful. If goals are only partially met, the intervention plan will be refined, with goals adjusted and strategies modified as needed. As Kang et al. 2020 highlight, the COPM goals should be reset when ceiling effects are reached or new priorities emerge. And Estenjo et al. 2008 described GAS as a part of a dynamic, ongoing goal-setting process rather than a one-time measure. Rehabilitation is an ongoing process that must adapt as Ethan grows and his environment changes. In 2 years, Ethan will be navigating senior schooling, and in 5, transitioning out of school altogether. Early adolescence is a critical period for developing skills, confidence, and self-concept that will support these transitions. Ethan is not a diagnosis that needs fixing, but a teenager navigating the same challenges as his peers, just with additive complexity. The goal of intervention is to reduce the barriers between Ethan and the life he wants to live. Thank you.